Hey, so this is a great video about counting to add and subtract. Now, this is something that we worked on in the very first semester, and I know that we've already moved on to doing two-digit numbers. We're adding things like 67 and 41. We're adding huge numbers. We're getting up to 100, 120. We're adding all these crazy numbers. So you might think that this is kind of taking a step back when you see the numbers that I'm picking to use today. But I want to tell you that even though we did this a long time ago and that a lot of you guys are past this point, we have to make sure that we understand it with small numbers first. So even if you understand it with the numbers that I'm using, you can take these same ideas and use them with bigger numbers that are not as easy. So I'm going to use easy numbers today just so that you can remember and help you focus, but then you can use that, the strategies that I pick, you can use those with bigger numbers in the two-digit addition that we're working on too. So if your brain is a little fuzzy and thinks that this is kind of silly, I understand, but please stay with me because it's important that we learn how to do this math. Even if you already know how to do it, it's important that you review how to do it so that when you get a harder problem that you're not so sure about, you have this to fall back on and to think about, oh yeah, I know how to do this because I could do it with small numbers. Okay, so we're going to start by using a fact family. And the reason that I'm starting with the fact family is because I also want to review the commutative property. The commutative property, and we're doing of addition. There's other commutative properties. There's like one of multiplication, but we're just talking about addition today, okay? So the commutative property of addition says that these two numbers, the add-ins, can be switched and we're still going to get the same answer. So 2 plus 3 is 5, just like 3 plus 2 is 5. Does not matter which order, okay? That's what the commutative property says, which is why a fact family works for us. So I'm going to show you our fact family, and then we're going to start thinking about adding and subtracting, okay? So here's the fact family that Miss Barton has chosen for us today. We've got 13, we have 9, and we have 4. Now we know in an addition problem, the sum or the answer needs to be the biggest number. I'm going to say it one more time. In an addition problem, the sum, the answer, has to be the biggest number. Because when we're adding things together, we're going to get more at the end, right? If I add together pieces of candy, I'm going to end up with more pieces of candy, right? Okay. So that's how I know that 13 is the sum in my addition problems. My add-ins can be 9 and 4. So look right here at the top one. 9 plus 4 equals 13. We're good with that. And 4 plus 9 equals 13. Totally cool. Totally fine. Totally chill. Excellent. Let's hop down to these subtraction problems. Now we know in subtraction, it has to start with your largest number. So what's the largest number up here? 13. We already established that, didn't we? Say, Miss Barton, we already knew that. Well, I know you already knew that, but remember, starting little so we can go big. Okay, so 13, we know that 13 is going to be the number we start with, because if I'm taking stuff away and I run out, well, then I can't take any more away. So we're going to start with the biggest number. So 13 minus 4 is 9, and in the same way, 13 minus 9 is 4. So look at all the different problems I can make just using those same three numbers. And that is all thanks to the commutative property. Okay, so now that we've seen the numbers and we know the problems, I'm going to show you the strategies that I want to talk about today. So the first strategy that we're going to talk about is counting on and counting back, okay? So if I had let's say that I have 9, all right, and I want to add 4 more, okay? I have 9 and I want to add 4 more. Can you count that with me? All right, we're going to start at 9. Here we go. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I got 4 more. And that got me to 13. Think about our commutative property. Is that where I'm supposed to be? 9 plus 4, 13? That's right. Okay, but what if I need to count backwards for subtracting? Well, I'm going to start at 13, and I'm going to count down 4. And let's see if I land at 9, okay? So we'll start at 13. Ready? 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. I did land where I was supposed to. Let's check though. 13 minus 4 is 9? Yes? Awesome. Okay. Now, sometimes I can draw that counting on out on a number line, and that helps me see. Sometimes I can also draw them out with models. So Miss Barton has already taken the time to draw these problems out with models and on a number line just to show you. Now, guys, I know that you know how to draw models, but let's review. So when I draw one little box, one little square, that represents a unit, and a unit represents a 1. When I draw a stick, that's 10 units, and so that represents a group of tens. We call that a stick or a 10, a group of tens, that kind of thing. Okay, that's all we need to worry about today, but you also know that a big block represents 100, like a flat is what they're really called, flat, which is 10 groups of tens all stuck together, like a flat piece of paper would be a group of 100, but we're not doing that today because we're just working up to 13 today. Okay, so I'm going to show you the board. I want you to think about it for a minute, and then we're going to talk. Okay, so you can see on my addition side how I counted on, I started with 4, I counted on 9, and then you can see with the models at the bottom how I had 4 and 9. Why did I circle some? That's because that represents a group of tens. So when I drew it, again, I would draw 1 stick and 3 cubes, or 3 units. Now look at the subtraction. Do you see how I'm counting backwards? Both times on my number line, I worked to 10, and then I added the rest. So like on this one, when I counted on, you see that I started at 4. I know that 6 more than 4 is 10, but then I still have 1, 2, 3 more to get to 13. Okay? So I jumped 6 units to 10, and then I had to jump 3 more to hit 13, and 3 and 6 is 9, okay? And then in this one, I started at 13 because I'm subtracting. I took away 3, then I landed at 10, and then I jumped back 6 to hit 4. So in both of these, I'm really looking for the number 10 to kind of be like a guide for me. Okay, since 13 is made up of a group of 10s and then 3 1s. I'm really looking for the number 10 to be a good guide for me. And then in the models for subtraction, look, I drew my unit, my 3 units, and then I drew my stick of 10 as well. But I can't take 9 from that because there's not 9 units that are separated. So what I had to do was break down my 10, put them all as units, and then mark out the ones that I did not need. Notice that with models, I'm not drawing 13 and then also drawing 4 because that means I have more than what I should start with. I should only start with 13. So I have 13 and I've got to cut some out. I've got to take some away. Do not draw any more than 13. Don't. Think about it like this. If I have 13 cupcakes and I'm trying to give them out, am I going to get more cupcakes somewhere along the way? No, my mom only bought 13. I've only got 13. I'm not going to get more. You're not going to draw more when you're drawing models, okay? So this was a quick review about counting to add and subtract. We also talked about the commutative property, and we looked at a fact family for a few minutes. Okay, so when we're adding, I know that this problem was probably so easy for you guys, and you could just count on your fingers, or some of you probably even knew it straight off the top of your head, the answer to this problem, and a lot of you could probably figure it out real quick, fast, and in a hurry. But remember, we start small to get big. So I know that this one was easy, but some of them are not going to be easy. And I want you to think about drawing models, counting on and using a number line, or a fact family. So we talked about 4 things today. Counting on, counting back for subtraction, using a number line, drawing some models, and thinking about a fact family with that commutative property. Those are 4 great strategies for you to use when you're doing math with me. Okay, y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all later.